NBA free agency still in full swing. Early this morning, former Duke product Marvin Bagley III is moving from Dallas to Denver on a one-year deal. He'll back up Jokic for sure, help them out in the post. And now it'll be his sixth team since being drafted into the NBA in 2018 when he was like all rookie team. Like he'd just been passed around like the town bicycle. But hey, go get yours, man. Go get your money. Get some long-term, though, deal. You know, Denver's a beautiful city. You know, spend any time somewhere for a weekend, Denver's great. They got light rail from the airport to downtown. There's lots of cool stuff to do, really great food if you want a good steak. I've never had a bad piece of red meat in Colorado ever. And you get to look at the mountains. And this time of year, they play baseball. Not great baseball, but they play baseball there. So Marvin Bagley III, moving on in free agency. The biggest news yesterday was the Jaylen Brown deal. Jaylen Brown, and again, we talk about town bicycles. Paul George seems to be the throw-in for everybody. It's Paul George and what else? It's always Paul George and this time it's Paul George and I believe 4 picks. Is it 4 picks? To the Boston Celtics, in which I don't know how deep that bridge got burned, but it's pretty clear that Jaylen Brown, as soon as they started talking about moving him for any other star player, and, you know, it was Giannis at first, and, you know, you throw Paul George into that conversation now, it felt like he was already going to be on his way out no matter what. Like, there was no way to coexist for some reason. This could have had a lot of cap implications as well. Boston was paying a lot of money, and they have brand new ownership, and the ownership was probably like, you know, it's not really my basketball team right now. If you want to move a few pieces around and get us reset and restocked, I think we can make a run, but probably not at that kind of money. And so they moved Brown to Philadelphia, which is a unique move in itself. If you're going to move players to rivals, I'm like, this is Babe Ruth, right? Along those lines. Can you make that comparison from Boston to the Yankees? Although Herman Ruth did not have the body of work that he had with Boston when he moved to the Yankees. And Jaylen Brown, still in his prime, by all means, like, wanted to spend his entire career in Boston and did not do so. And the East right now, Toronto grabbing Kawhi Leonard. Miami's got Giannis. They got more questions than anything else. But Philadelphia, God, that's a ridiculous backcourt now with Brown and Maxey. And if Brown and Joel Embiid, and those two have had words before, Brown had called Embiid a flopper for a long time. Said he was great, by the way. Couched it by saying that. But then he goes, well, you know, there's a lot of flopping in the NBA, and Embiid's right at the top of that. If they can mend that fence and just go, dude, it's rivals being rivals, you get that Boston-Philly run back that some of you old heads might remember from like the 80s and early 90s, and you get that rivalry backed up again. And I'm not even talking about the New York Knicks at this point, who just lost Mitchell Robinson to Boston. Knicks aren't even part of this conversation. I'm like, the East just got tougher as some of these players get moved around and they all get lined up. And this doesn't even start scratching the surface. And I don't want to bring it into the conversation that far because this one could drag out a while. He's going to take his time and do his due diligence. But LeBron James is floating out there. And he doesn't need, at least from what we've been told and what I've read, he doesn't need $50 million to go anywhere anymore. Like, he's going to round out his career, and he's going to go chase a ring one more time. And as much as NBA basketball fans, and Max has said this out loud, and I'm all for it, that he would go run it back and play with Steph Curry. And, like, for LeBron James, for his career, I talked about Freddie Anderson early on in this program about living the charm life and playing with superstars, where Freddie Anderson is now going to play with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and had prior played with Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. I'm like, this is LeBron James's time to, like, just run the table with superstars. Like, all up and down with Wade and Bosh and Doncic and playing with legacy players. You got to play with Kevin Love. Like, we don't even think about Kevin Love as an extraordinary player anymore, but that dude had an array of moves in the post and was so good and had such good hands that we forget that he could throw overhead passes 90 feet into an alley-oop situation from baseline to baseline. LeBron's played with some of the best future Hall of Famers, current Hall of Famers at this point. He can do that again. But that one kind of hangs out there too. And like, as they fight in the West for domination, and the argument is that the NBA is now just built around 4 or 5 or 6 teams, it's not. Like, there are strength in numbers out east. You can list the top 6 without even thinking about it. I didn't even include Detroit in that conversation.
Yeah, who was the number 1 seed last year.
Yeah, Detroit was the number 1 seed.
I think, I don't know, this move, I think, puts the Sixers at the forefront to be
right straight to the top,
coming
out
of the East. Who you got Maxey, Embiid, now Jaylen Brown. You've got Edgecombe there as well. That's a very solid unit of just 4 guys right there. I don't know how well they can round out the rest of the lineup. And then, of course, there was reporting online yesterday that they've also reached out to LeBron James to try to express interest in signing him.
Why not?
If they completed their starting 5 by adding him to that 4, they're definitely clear favorites to win the East. Now, a lot of that is health dependent when you've got a guy like Joel Embiid and you've got LeBron, who's in his 40s now. But, I mean, that's a scary lineup to think about. It's already scary without LeBron. If you added him into that, they're definitely, to me at least, favorites to win the Eastern Conference.
They overhauled the LA Lakers, not with Nate. You're like, oh, look, Colin Sexton. I remember him. I remember Walker Kessler in Utah. Not really. I mean, but Luka Doncic is running that team, and he's got help with Austin Reeves. But it's not, the West isn't the story. It is about the East. And if LeBron swings his influence to the East, maybe it's not even, to be honest, maybe it's not even Philadelphia. Maybe it's Cleveland. And Cleveland made the deep run this year with James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. What? LeBron goes back there? Like, now he's sneaking into the conversation even more and more. I apologize. It wasn't intended to go that way, but it is where it ends up. Like, he is one of the last big dominoes unless you start seeing more trades, say, out of Portland who have assets, or maybe, Minnesota's not done dealing, but eek. It's cool. I think it's cool. It's good to be able to have that conversation, and LeBron going free agency allows us to string that along anymore. It's not about whether or not he's going to play again. He is going to play again, but it will shake things up. It's not the Aaron Rodgers conversation. Done with that one.
I'm Max Goren with 3 things you need to know right now from 99.9 The Fan. The Carolina Hurricanes were the only team not to register a signing on an active day 1 of NHL free agency. Goaltender Frederik Andersen signed a 1-year deal with the Edmonton Oilers, and defenseman John Carlson signed a 2-year contract with the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Jaylen Brown trade saga has come to an end. The Philadelphia 76ers are sending Paul George 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks to the Boston Celtics in exchange for the 2024 Finals MVP. Brown finished 6th in MVP voting and was second-team All-NBA last season. The U.S. men's national team defeated Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0 in the World Cup round of 32 last night. Valerian Balogun scored the first goal just before halftime before being sent off with a red card in the second half, meaning he will miss the round of 16 game against Belgium on Monday night as a result. For all the latest news on your favorite teams, download the 99.9 The Fan app or visit 999thefan.com.
Who wants a Connor Ingram? Anybody? You want a Michael Bunting, Carolina Hurricanes? 3 years after Bunting signs the deal with the Canes, he is now a free agent, and I believe this would be his 4th team in 3 years. 4th? That dude. I feel bad for him. I do. That's Max. I'm Paul. Next up here on 99.9 The Fan. Day 2 of the NHL free agency period. There are still a handful of notables that are available. If the Canes are shopping, this is the weirdest one that's still available, and maybe they're trying to get a deal done in Pittsburgh for Anthony Mantha, who scored 33 goals last year. Is the asking price just too high for a 33-goal scorer? Might I remind you that the Carolina Hurricanes struggled to get to that 33-goal score. 33. Now, who are you playing with, right? Who are you playing with to set you up for 33 goals? It's not luck. 33 goals is not luck. Alex Ovechkin's still out there. You want to go sign Alex Ovechkin, Washington? You want to get that done? for $5 million, that'd be my guess. They're not going to pay him a ton of money. They want to. He probably would take anything they want to put in front of him. But there's a lot of available talent out there that could still help teams. But it feels like while you are still out there, it's either about, are we making decisions or are we just trying to find the best landing spot? You know, for like Detroit, who have yet to move on from Dylan Larkin, who says, I want to be traded, and they're still waiting for that trade deal to come through. They're also not bringing back Patrick Kane. And Patrick Kane's a little bit longer in the tooth, for sure. But he's 37. There are an awful lot of 37-year-olds in the NHL right now who can score 16 goals and bring the kind of grit that Patrick Kane can bring you. Why are you not signing him? What is wrong with that? It doesn't feel right for some of these guys to still be out there. There's a handful of defensemen. And again, these guys they're not players that cannot contribute. There are many other guys who got overpaid yesterday who come with an absolute just 100-foot game. You know, they are either good on one side of the blue line or the other.
Patrick Kane.
But there's nothing in between.
Patrick Kane being one of those players. I mean, would not expect much from him on the defensive end for whatever team he ends up signing with. But
there's a home for him, though.
Not everything goes down on day one of free agency, right? Some of these guys want to hear offers from multiple teams. Some guys are not hearing, perhaps the contract terms that they're looking for right off the bat. So there's some negotiation that has to go down. Anthony Mantha is an interesting case because him scoring 30-plus goals last year is like, I don't want to say like a full-on aberration, but it's definitely like his career season. He's never had like that level of success before on any sort of consistent basis. And in fact, I feel like at times Anthony Mantha has struggled to like carve out a role, like a permanent role, like on an NHL roster. So for him to break out like that at the age of 31, like, I don't know if you're going to see consistent success from him. I'm sure his argument is, I'm trending up. I've scored 30 goals. I can replicate this success, where other teams are saying, well, there's a long track record of, you've been all right, but not this level of player before. So my guess is that they're going to have to meet in the middle with him and whatever squad he ends up deciding to go to. But guys like Patrick Kane, guys like Claude Giroux, Tarasenko, they're going to land somewhere. It's a matter of where. And I don't know. Like, these are not guys that like the Carolina Hurricanes would be targeting. These are guys
you're
I think Claude Giroux, the rumor was maybe a reunion with Philadelphia could be on the table for him. Could definitely see that. And the others, like, anybody could use that kind of depth scoring with veteran presence that a Tarasenko or a Patrick Kane brings. So they'll end up somewhere probably on like 1 or 2 year deals, making like a couple $1 million, $2, $3, $4 million. That's what I could see happening.
Connor Ingram's still out there too. There's a lack of goaltending in the NHL. I'm like, if you need backups, he's available. Like he's still capable. Cam Talbot's still out there. Cam Talbot's 38 years old, if you can believe that. 38. And doesn't look like Detroit wants to bring him back, or maybe he's asking for, as crazy as it sounds, maybe he's asking for Freddie Anderson money, which is only $1 million, but a lot of kickers throughout hitting marks, again, games played and things like that.
Yeah. He signed a $1 million contract. I think it was a good deal, was Matt Zuccarello in Los Angeles yesterday. That's a nice pickup for like a solid middle six. It could even be like third-line winger. So
LA's just weird, though. They're not getting any younger.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup. He had 50-something points the last couple of years, though, so that's a good deal. I know he's an older guy, but still just $1 million bucks.
Him and Corey Perry. Anze Kopitar cannot be replaced. Just saying. You're trying hard there, LA. So day 2 of NHL free agency. We'll keep you up to date on any movements, of course, involving your Carolina Hurricanes and the situation with Alexander Nikishin.